The Enterprise and Development Scorecard. This element consists of preferential procurement, supplier development, and enterprise development. Let's start by going through the indicators for procurement. Points are awarded for the following indicators within procurement. 1. Spend from all empowering suppliers with valid BE certificates. 2. Spend from all empowering QSC suppliers. 3. Spend from all empowering EME suppliers. 4. Spend from all empowering suppliers which are greater than 51% Black owned. 5. Spend from all empowering suppliers which are greater than 31% Black women owned. And finally, bonus points are awarded for spend from designated group suppliers that are greater than 51% Black owned. It must be noted that the compliance targets for procurement have increased when compared to the old code. There is a larger emphasis on spend with empowering suppliers that are 51% or more Black owned. The second part of the Enterprise and Supplier Development Scorecard looks at supplier development. This is the annual value of all supplier development contributions made by the measured entity. The third part looks at enterprise development. This is the annual value of enterprise development contributions and sector-specific programs made by the measured entity. And finally, we look at the bonus points associated with supplier and enterprise development. The first is awarded for graduation of an enterprise development beneficiary to the status of a supplier development beneficiary. And the second looks at jobs created directly as a result of enterprise development and supplier development initiatives by the measured entity. Now let's have a look at the amendments of the scorecard. The enterprise and supplier development element is a priority element. Companies must achieve a minimum of 40% of the points in preferential procurement, in supplier development, and within enterprise development. Failure to do so will result in a company dropping a level on their scorecard. The next amendment looks at the empowering supplier status. Suppliers are required to be empowering suppliers to be awarded points under procurement. In order to achieve this status, companies would need to be BE compliant, a good South African citizen, comply with all regulatory requirements of the country, as well as comply with the following requirements. 1. At least 25% of cost of sales must be sourced from local suppliers. 2. 50% of jobs created for Black people and no decrease in the number of Black staff from the prior rating. 3. At least 25% transformation of raw materials. 4. Spend at least 12 days per annum upskilling Black QSC and EME companies operationally and/or financially. 5. At least 85% of labor costs are paid to South African employees by service industry companies. The final point under empowering supplier status is that EMEs and startup entities will automatically gain empowering supplier status. Bonus points are awarded for using suppliers that are designated group suppliers under preferential procurement. You will also receive enhanced recognition for the following: using supplier development beneficiaries with a minimum 3-year contract, using any Black QSE or EME companies that have a minimum 3-year contract, and using first-time suppliers. Import exclusions are not allowed for designated sectors such as textile, clothing, pharmaceuticals, etc. Import exclusion for brand or technologically specific items are only allowed if developed and implemented with an enterprise and supply development plan for imported goods and services. The following is applicable to enterprise and supply development. Cumulative contributions are allowed. No industry norm check to be done for net profit after tax figures. Measured entities are encouraged to develop a plan for qualifying beneficiaries. Supplier development and enterprise development beneficiaries are regarded as QSCs or EMEs that are greater than 51% Black owned. You cannot claim the same activities for enterprise development and supplier development. Bonus points are awarded for the graduation of enterprise development beneficiaries and for job creation. The recognition for shorter payment terms has been limited to 15% of invoice value depending on the days between invoice and payment. and the maximum points that you can score from this initiative will be 1.5 out of 10 points. For more information on the new BE codes, please contact us on the following details.